Number 10. Mona Lisa Perez. When a Minnesota couple tried a dangerous stunt for their YouTube video, things went terribly wrong. Pedro Ruiz held a hardcover encyclopedia book up against his chest while his girlfriend Mona Lisa Perez was standing barely a foot away holding a .50 caliber Desert Eagle pistol. They wanted to see if a bullet would go through the book or get stopped by it. Mona Lisa was kind of hesitant, but her boyfriend kept reassuring her that everything would be fine and insisted she go through with it. What they ignored was that the Desert Eagle is easily one of the world's most powerful semi-automatic handguns on the market. She pulled the trigger and the bullet easily passed through the book. Ruiz was mortally wounded by the gunshot and fell to the ground. Mona Lisa quickly called 911 in a state of panic. She was later charged with second-degree manslaughter and she pleaded guilty. She was given a 180-day jail sentence. Along with this, she was banned from owning any kind of firearms for the rest of her life and from collecting payments on her story. She retained custody of her 2 children though, and as part of the plea agreement, she was allowed to serve her jail time in her home state of South Dakota. Her punishment was only lenient because the plan to shoot was originally hatched by the victim himself. The couple's channel featured multiple prank videos where they regularly performed dangerous and weird stunts for their viewers, including one where Mona Lisa made her boyfriend eat a sandwich that was filled with hot peppers. Number 9. Daniela Petito. On August 16, 2019, a 22-year-old Colombian YouTuber named Daniela Petito reportedly left her home country to work at a restaurant chain in Spain, but sadly she only made it as far as Guatemala before she sensed something was wrong. She was scared for her life, thinking she would soon be forced into the sex trade, so she started sending messages to her family. She told them someone was going to kill her and that they should report her location to the police. Her father allegedly replied that she needed to call the authorities herself since she was in a different country. A few weeks later, on September 10th, she lost contact with her family. About a week after that, her dead body was found by police on a beach. Her photos were then published in Mexican media in case anyone knew who she was. One of Daniela's friends recognized her and called in immediately. Her body was reportedly badly decomposed and was only identifiable by a tattoo she had that read "Ineffable." A few months later, a Mexican gang leader named Jonathan N. was accused of killing her. It is unclear what his motive could have been, but he was described by authorities as a dangerous person who was responsible for multiple violent crimes. Number 8. Sam Pepper. There are very few social media figures on the planet as disgraced and disliked as Sam Pepper. The Brit started his YouTube channel back in 2010 and quickly shot to fame thanks to his sexually suggestive pranks. He would often get uncomfortably close to women and then record their reactions to inappropriate questions he'd ask. While at first he seemed to get away with his actions, he later faced massive backlash after uploading a video where he could be seen pinching a random woman's butt and then pretending like he wasn't the one who did it. Obviously, people were outraged and pointed out that what he was doing was literal sexual harassment. He then uploaded a second video to the platform where he filmed a woman pinching men's butts instead, claiming the whole thing had been a social experiment. It was later revealed that almost all of his videos had been filmed with actors and not random people from the street. But this didn't make anything better. He was soon accused by multiple women of sexually harassing and assaulting them outside of the videos. One of them even said they had sex despite her repeatedly telling him no. Another revealed that she had messaged him when she was only 15 years old. Many of these women didn't go to the police because they worked in the entertainment industry and were scared that their careers could be affected. Although he denied the allegations and still walks free, Sam's easily one of the most hated figures on social media. What would you do if you found yourself on the other end of Sam Pepper's pranks? Tell us in the comments and hit subscribe while you're at it. Number 7. ELLIOT RODGER. On May 23, 2014, a YouTuber named ELLIOT RODGER went on a brutal and terrifying killing spree in Isla Vista, California. First, he fatally stabbed 3 men in his own home. Then he went to a sorority house and shot 3 women, 2 of whom were killed while the other was injured. And he didn't stop there. He shot and killed a man at a deli and injured about 13 others during a standoff with police officers. He ended the night by shooting himself inside his wrecked BMW. According to reports, he had Asperger's syndrome and had been having issues since he was a child. A day before the rampage, he uploaded a YouTube video explaining why it had come to this. He said that being a virgin, with the girls turning him down, popular kids ignoring him at school, this had all angered him and it was now time to make them suffer. He said that he waited a long time for this and was going to give them what they deserved. And guess what? He also claimed that he was the true victim since he had suffered all his life. The authorities even found a diary at his home, which made it very clear how angry and mentally disturbed he really was. Many people rightly pointed out that this incident was proof that misogyny kills and that young men should be taught that they aren't entitled to any women's attention. Number 6. Trey SESLER. PEKKA-ERIC SESLER, otherwise known as LensCap Productions, was an anime and video game YouTuber. He had over 300 videos with millions of views. The then 22-year-old was a self-described loner who lived with his parents in Waller, Texas. Some of his videos began taking a very disturbing tone. He was a big fan of guns and would often post videos of himself shooting. In one of his last videos, he told his followers he was going to take a short break from uploading since he found a new job. It was cryptically titled, "Mr. Anime is planning something." On March 20th, 2012, he brought his mom into the garage and killed her with a shotgun. His older brother Mark, who had actually shown up in many videos, came out to investigate the commotion, so SESLER shot him too. After this, he went into his parents' room and shot his dad in the head. Mark actually survived the first bullet. He locked himself in the bathroom and thought he might actually get away, but his brother beat the door down to finish the job. Trey then started writing weird phrases on the walls like, "I love my family" and "I will never forgive myself." Then he made his way to his real mission. He packed his vehicle with over 100 rounds of ammunition and a .995 carbine rifle, drove to his former high school, and sat in the parking lot before leaving. Soon he was found by police, and during questioning he admitted that he was planning a Columbine-style shooting at his old school. He wanted to kill at least 70 people. SESLER claimed he killed his family because he didn't want them to be ashamed of him, but he changed his story several times, so no one really knows what his motive was. He was later charged with capital murder and sentenced to life in prison. Number 5. PEKKA-ERIC AUVINEN. PEKKA-ERIC AUVINEN is famously known as the YouTube Killer. Back in the day, he had a small following on the platform but had uploaded over 100 videos. In many of them, he criticized almost all religions. Most of his peers thought that he was just a shy student who spent most of his time alone. It was also believed that he was the target of long-term bullying that had left a mark on him. In November 2007, Pekka was just 18 years old when he attacked the Jokela High School in Tuusula, Finland. He shot 9 people, 8 of whom were killed while 1 survived. 12 others were injured by flying shattered glass or sprained ankles while running away from the chaos. The teenager then shot himself in the head and fell to the floor. He was taken to a nearby hospital, but soon succumbed to his injuries and passed away. A few hours before the incident, he uploaded a video from a different account where he showed a photograph of the school. It then fragmented to reveal a picture of a man pointing a gun towards the camera. The clip was named Jokela High School Massacre, and it basically proves this was a calculated and planned attack. In yet another profile, he said that he, as a natural selector, would eliminate all who he sees unfit. He also called himself, quote, an antisocial social Darwinist, which explains his violent tendencies. Number 4. Jared Lee Loughner. Jared Lee Loughner was a YouTuber who uploaded videos on a wide range of topics like religion, mind control, the government, and even a currency he designed. He didn't have much of a following, but many people saw his videos after his horrific crime. But even before, many of his classmates could tell there was something wrong with him, and one of them even said that she always thought he looked like a crazed shooter. One of Jared's professors even had to throw him out of a class because he wouldn't calm down. He kept ranting about his constitutional right to get full credit for an assignment. On January 8th, 2011, he showed up at a shopping mall for Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords' Congress on Your Corner event. He had a semi-automatic pistol with an extra long clip that he used to shoot 20 people. 6 people died and 13 others, including the Congresswoman, were severely injured. Bystanders subdued him at first, and soon he was arrested by police. He was taken into custody and kept separate from the other prisoners. He was only allowed out of his cell for 1 hour every day to exercise and shower. In August 2012, Loughner pled guilty to 19 counts of murder and attempted murder. He was given a life sentence plus an additional 140 years, all of which will be spent in a federal prison. Number 3. Mike Lombardo. Mike Lombardo was an internet sensation who got famous for singing love ballads while playing the piano. What his fans didn't know was that he had an extremely dark side to him. In 2011, the FBI started investigating him, and a few months later, he was arrested for asking minors to send explicit photos and videos of themselves masturbating. Many of the young women he interacted with were just 15 or 16 years old, and he took advantage of his position as an internet personality to manipulate them. Reportedly, he told his probation officers that the reason he depended on online relationships was because he had no friends in real life. He thought that what he was doing was fine since all the girls were excited to do stuff with him as fans. In 2013, he pled guilty to 11 counts of inappropriate relationships with female minors. He also had to register as a convicted sex offender. Surprisingly enough, he was only sentenced to 5 years in prison, a decision that angered the entire YouTube community. His girlfriend, Haley G. Hoover, talked about the singer's arrest and revealed that Mike was an expert manipulator who had an unhealthy attitude towards sex. She expressed that she completely believed everything the singer was accused and convicted of. Number 2. Gabby Petito. In June 2021, 22-year-old YouTuber and aspiring social media star Gabby Petito broke international headlines after going on a cross cross-country road trip with her fiancé Brian Laundrie. She'd been super excited to share her journey with her family and fans, but strangely, around August, all communication stopped and her family started getting worried. In September, they reported her missing to police in Suffolk County, New York. What was even scarier was that Brian had returned home to Florida in the couple's vehicle without Gabby and refused to tell her family anything. Everyone could sense that something was wrong. A few days later, authorities in Wyoming found her body, and an autopsy report revealed that someone had strangled her to death. There was an exhaustive FBI manhunt for Laundrie, and they eventually found his skeletal remains in Florida's Carlton Reserve. He took his own life, and police found a note where he admitted he was responsible for the murder of Gabby. The victim's parents have filed a lawsuit against Laundrie's family, since they believe that they knew their son was the culprit before he killed himself. A jury trial is set to take place next year in August of 2023. Number 1. STAS REEFLAY. Stanislav Reshetnikov, known by STAS REEFLAY on YouTube, reportedly took $1,000 from a viewer in exchange for abusing his girlfriend on camera. Valentina Grigorieva, his girlfriend, was also pregnant when the incident occurred and caused her death. REEFLAY's live streams revealed a pattern of violence, alcohol dependency, and utter chaos, and this is just what his fans like to see on his channel. An older clip showed the YouTuber repeatedly pepper spraying Valentina's face as she laid on the sofa while he just chilled and laughed with his friends. She could be heard gasping for breath in the background while her boyfriend just sat there, unbothered by what was happening to her or what distress she was in. Although humiliation, sadism, and misogyny were common on the Russian's channel, he took it a bit too far with his final prank on Valentina. The video shows him tearfully sitting in front of the camera while Valentina's frozen body can be seen just behind him. Police suspected that she was subjected to serious beatings and abuse before she even died. One viewer testified that the YouTuber poured cold water on her before locking her outside in her underwear in extremely cold weather. He didn't even let her keep a jacket. She died outside from hypothermia while REEFLAY kept the camera rolling even when he realized she was, quote, already half dead. In the extremely disturbing footage, he can be seen carrying her back inside and attempting to revive her, but it's too late. His stream continued even after he called an ambulance, and he told his viewers she was pale and didn't have a heartbeat. The Russian was found guilty and sentenced to 6 years in prison for Valentina's death. Thanks for watching. Did you ever subscribe to any of these YouTube channels at some point? Did you ever think social media figures were capable of such violent crimes? Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time on The Bad Badger.